What's up, everybody? Couch Mills here, coming at you with a brand new Valorant video. And in this video, we gotta break down the 10 things that Valorant needs right away. And I mean, we can't afford to wait on a lot of these things, and I would love it to be in patch 2.02, but we're gonna break all of it down, so make sure you watch it to the end, smash the like and subscribe for the algorithm, but go to the GameLeap website in the links down below for in-depth advanced guides, VOD reviews, tips and tricks, and our secret cannoli recipe. We got it all on the GameLeap website, so do yourself a favor, go check it out in the links down below. But without further ado, let's jump into the video. Now, kicking it off right off the bat with one of the most important things that we need changed right away, and it's dynamic changes to the eco rounds, specifically pistol round and just force buying in general. There are two really big problem weapons right now that I think need addressing the most, and a lot of pro players have been talking about them non-stop, and that's the Frenzy and the Stinger. Now, first up, let's talk about the Frenzy that is being used so damn much in pistol round. It's absolutely crazy. Pros are using it, it's being used in high rank play, and it is extremely powerful and viable because not only does it almost guarantee you a kill if you're rocking Frenzy plus armor, but it's also insanely consistent at refragging, and the fact that it's almost nearly perfectly accurate while you're running and gunning means there's a lot of scenarios where you can jiggle peek a corner, or you can just run across the corner while spraying, get a kill, and you basically get that risk-free, where weapons like a Ghost or even a Classic are gonna have an extremely hard time challenging you at all. And for all those reasons combined, Frenzy just seems a little bit too powerful right now. And then the Stinger is a weapon that is basically destroying eco in general. Tenz was on his stream talking about how the Stinger just destroys like the first 5 rounds of the game. It doesn't matter what rounds you win or lose. There's no such thing as stacking your economy because forcing is so damn powerful in those early rounds in the game. Now, all in all, there's two big ways that you could actually deal with the Frenzy and Stinger strength. The first one and the easiest one is just price. Up the Frenzy up to 500, up the Stinger up to 1200, and that might be good enough to actually make it a cost to buy these weapons. You can't buy Frenzy light armor or multiple abilities. You can't get that Stinger for very cheap. So there is a cost, and there are other options in that price point that are slightly cheaper that might get you similar amounts of value. So the Stinger will be used less overall, and it will be more punishing if you force and it doesn't work out. Or they could go the other route, which is movement accuracy changes, which just means the weapons are a lot less accurate when you're running and gunning. But I definitely want to know what you would change about these guns in the comments down below. Now, the next thing that we really need to talk about Valorant in general, and this is specifically for ranked, but in pro play as well, REYNA and JETT really need looking at as far as nerfs. Now, I know what you're gonna say. What the heck? Why you nerfing my main? And you know what? I play JETT a lot too. She's my second most played behind Omen, and I do think that she's extremely fun. So is REYNA, and I understand why you don't want these characters nerfed, but they are characters that are just far too overpowered in general. And for ranked in particular, go look at the pick rates for every single rank, and REYNA and JETT are at the top of every single rank. Now, the reason for this is these are characters that reward you or let you off scot-free from positionally playing poorly. You can just play very out in the open, and as long as you get that kill or win that duel, you get to get out scot-free. And on top of that, REYNA, specifically on pistol round, is just absolutely nuts. She just has a huge conversion on winning those pistol rounds. Getting that overheal to 150 on pistol just seems far too strong. And if I was looking for a change of REYNA, I would probably change the maximum amount of health she could gain, especially on that pistol round. And for JETT, perhaps her dash is something that we need to look at. Maybe she could only dash where she's looking or something like that. I'm not entirely sure, to be honest, but I do know that both of these characters seem way too powerful with their ability to basically make a mistake or position poorly, still get value, still get out safely, and their pick rate and ranked just reflects that to an extremely high T. Now, we're going to the next big thing that we need in Valorant right away are ICEBOX changes. And this one might be a little bit controversial, but the problem with ICEBOX, in my personal opinion, is none other than mid. While there's ways to play both B and A pretty decently, especially on A on defense, you want to play far more defensively, play crosses, and B, as long as you find a proactive way to deal with some type of high ground teleport strat or aggressive base strategies out of B, you can take control of that really easily with smokes and different things like that. But mid in particular is like a nightmare to take on attack. There's way too many angles, way too much verticality, and the map can be very, very confusing, and maybe with enough time and practice, the map will feel a little bit better. But honestly, based on how well those changes went with Split, in my personal opinion, Split feels absolutely great post changes. I would love to see some more minor tweaks to ICEBOX, and a lot of people agree with me. ICEBOX is still one of the most dodged maps in the game, and it's been out for a long amount of time. Definitely needs some addressing because I think it's a little bit of tweaks away from being an absolutely great map. There's just some things about it that just feel terrible. Now moving on to the fourth big thing that we need in Valorant right away, and it's either a Viper buff or rework. You see, Viper is a very, very popular character. A lot of people like her, and on top of that, she has a kit that seems really, really fun and allows for a lot of really cool opportunities for one-ways and retakes and things like that. But unfortunately, due to her power level, she's just not viable as a controller. She doesn't block off the angles that you need blocked off, especially long upper angles and things like that. Viper has a really hard time. But really, with only 2 controller options, it would be great to have more, because when we look at the duelists, there are like a freaking million options in the duelist category, but we only have 2 controller options. That just doesn't seem right at all, and I would love some big Viper buffs or rework. They've known for a while that Viper has been really, really poor, so it really makes me think that they're working on a rework instead of buffs, because why wouldn't they have already tweaked these numbers in patch 2.02? I have no idea, but if we see patch 2.03 and we see just this tiny little Viper buff, I'm gonna lose my freaking mind, because why would you wait this long to do it? That's just a little bit of a rant, but definitely let me know what you want to see with Viper in the comments down below. Now I'm gonna go to the next big thing that we absolutely need in Valorant right away, and we've been asking for this, and I know it's not just gonna come out of nowhere, but really, this is something that should have been in the game from the get-go, and it's a replay VOD viewer. We really want to be able to see our own games, analyze our own games, see the game from multiple point of views, and this will be a really good system in looking back through a game and identifying if someone was cheating. Right, I said multiple times in the past that people are not reporting cheaters enough in Valorant, that there are cheaters basically getting out scot-free because no one's reporting them, and how are we supposed to know if someone's cheating or just cracked out of their mind if we can't look at a VOD review? So this would be really great, not for only content creation, channels like us, but just looking at your own gameplay and looking what you did wrong, looking from other players' point of view and seeing what they did right, and finding cheaters. In my personal opinion, besides content for the competitive aspect of the game, this is the #1 most important thing that they need to add to the game right away. Now I'm gonna go to the next thing that they need in Valorant right now, and this was a big post that blew up on Reddit, but it's just auto drop the spike if a player AFKs. This is really, really something that's just annoying, and it makes a lot of sense. How are you gonna leave the spike in someone's hand if they literally AFK from the game, and then the clock ticks down and you can't possibly win or plant? That just makes absolutely no sense. Maybe just have them drop it and not make a sound so there's not some type of competitive loss or something like that. I'm not sure, but it would be really, really good if this would happen, because it just makes no sense for it to be in the game, and it would be a really simple fix to add in, I'm sure. So please, come on, Riot, add this in the game right away. Now moving on to the next big change that we need is fixes to deathmatch. Either fix the deathmatch that already exists with really slow spawns that sometimes spawn you on top of an enemy, and players that often just want to play for the win, play that mini-map, instead of doing what will actually help them improve, which is swinging angles, taking sporadic duels, and things like that. I would love either a completely different deathmatch-based mode that is way more proactive, way more fluid. You could drop in, drop out, you could warm up, and people aren't trying to win all the damn time, or really fix and tune up the pre-existing deathmatch. But definitely let me know what you think about this, because I really don't think that deathmatch is very good for practicing at all, but unfortunately it's kind of the best we got right now besides actually playing a game. Now I'm gonna go to these last 3 changes. These ones are gonna be a little bit more controversial. While I think the top 7 were much more community accepted and people definitely were like, yeah, we need these next 3 are going to be up for debate and discussion, and the actual changes might end up looking different. But the first one is changes to tagging, or the tagging slow, based on 2 different things. First off, armor should allow you to get tagged less. This was a suggestion I saw on Reddit, and I really liked this suggestion. If you have armor on and you get shot with a gun, you're not gonna get slowed as bad, which would put a buff on actually having armor, which would probably be nice, and you could balance this however you wanted to, but it would be nice if armor actually made you get tagged less. It just makes some logical sense here. And the second thing is different different guns should tag in different amounts. Why should a classic pistol being shot from super far away slow you almost to a halt when the Vandal or the Operator slows you the same amount? Doesn't really make that much sense, and it would help to balance different weapons, maybe nerf the SMGs a little bit. I would love to see that, where SMGs don't really stop your movement all that much, and then the matchup between something like a Phantom and a Stinger would actually move a little bit towards that Phantom, because it would slow the enemy a lot more than the enemy would slow you, and you could jiggle peek around them and things like that. But remember, this one's a little bit more speculative, so I really want to know your opinion about this and how you would actually balance these two things in the comments down below. Now moving on to the next big change that is a potential change. This one is definitely going to be up for debate, and it's operator reversions or changes. One of the big things that a lot of players, especially players like Shazam or other players in the NA scene, think created this meta where players are kind of ignoring tactics and going and lurking all the time, going for solo plays and things like that, is because there's no operator to actually punish them. Now, yes, you could still buy an operator, but it's super expensive and it's very penalizing for using it and actually getting caught out, and it's almost too much to the point where the operator is just not used. Now, instead of making it really expensive, there are alternatives that we could create, like make a really loud sound when zooming in, or change it in some other way besides the price, or more specifically, nerf JETT, because she was honestly the problem with ops in the first place, but they nerfed the entire gun instead of the character that was abusing the gun. So there's a lot of different ways to make operators still decent parts of the meta and still penalize really lazy play that is just centered around lurking and gunplay. But I definitely want to know your opinion about this. Do you just want the operator completely out of the game, or do you think the operator deserves a spot in the game? We do know that one-shot snipers can have a beneficial impact in a game like CS, but in Valorant it's a little bit more complicated, and with the addition of new characters, operators can become less or more powerful, so it's kind of tricky in that regard. But I want to know your opinion about this one in the comments down below, because this is definitely the one that's going to be up for the most debate, and I don't even know how I feel about it right now. This is just a really big potential talking point that a lot of people have been stirring up. Then we're going to the last big change that we absolutely need in Valorant. This one is so important. It's honestly do or die. And the thing is, we have a DILF, right? We have Brimstone. He is Papa Brimstone. But where the frick is a MILF, man? We do not have one, and we absolutely need one. It is unacceptable, Riot. Come on, man. Do us all a favor. Get us a MILF. Come on, spam this video at Riot so they know exactly what we're looking for. But go to the GameLeap website in the links down below for the advanced VODs, tips and tricks, map guides, agent courses. We got it on the GameLeap website, so get off incognito and go check it out in the links down below. But thank you so much for coming by. That's all I got for today. I'm Coach Mills. I love yo faces, and I'll see you tomorrow.